I need you to imagine something truly horrifying. It's 2:17 a.m. and you're watching this on silent, phone hidden under the duvet, heart hammering so loud you're terrified he'll hear it through the wall. My name is Emily Thompson. 2 years ago, I was lying half dead on the kitchen floor of our semi-detached house in South Manchester, blood pouring from my nose, ribs cracked like dry twigs, praying the next kick would finally finish me off. And then the junior doctor at Wythenshawe A&E leant over my broken body, looked straight into my one working eye, and whispered 6 words that absolutely destroyed my husband's perfect little lie. 6 words that saved my life. 6 words I still wake up crying from nightmares about. I'm telling you this because if you're watching right now with bruises you've had to explain away as walking into a door or tripping on the stairs, this story is for you. If you've ever been told you're too sensitive, overreacting, or that it's not that bad, stay, because tonight might be the night everything changes. Before I tell you exactly what that doctor whispered, please hit the like button and subscribe. It takes 2 seconds, and it tells every woman watching in secret that she is not alone. I'll wait. Thank you. Now turn the volume down as low as it goes, lock the bathroom door if you have to, and let me take you back to when I still believed love was supposed to hurt. Ready? This is the story of how I married a monster, and how one stranger in a hospital finally set me free. Let me take you back to 2016, when I still believed in fairy tales. I was 25, primary school teacher in Chorlton, mad about books, crap at dating, and convinced I'd end up alone with a house full of rescue cats. Then came that wedding in the Lake District. Rain all morning, then the clouds split open and the sun poured down like someone upstairs had decided this was going to be a film scene. I was wearing a sage green dress, hair half up, half down, feeling awkward because I didn't know many people. And there he was, James. Best man, navy suit, curls falling in his eyes, that cheeky Manchester accent that makes everything sound like a private joke between the two of you. He found me at the bar, trying to work out how to hold a Prosecco without spilling it everywhere. "All right, gorgeous," he grinned. "You look like you need rescuing from that glass." I laughed, actually laughed out loud, for the first time in months. We talked until the lights came up. He asked me what my favorite childhood book was, The Secret Garden. 2 weeks later, a first edition copy arrived on my desk at school with a note. "Thought you should have the real thing, JX." Second date he turned up with daffodils because I'd mentioned once, in passing, that they were my mum's favourite. Third date he cooked for me, proper Lancashire hot pot, made from his nan's recipe. He remembered I didn't eat red meat much anymore and swapped the beef for corn without making a fuss. He texted every single morning. "Morning, beautiful. Hope the kids are kind to you today." Every single night. Night, M. Dream of me. My mates were sick of hearing about him. "M, he's actually perfect," my best friend Liv said, half jealous, half worried I'd jinx it. My dad, ex-military, doesn't trust anyone, shook James's hand at Sunday lunch and muttered to me later, "He seems sound, love. Proper sound." James looked my dad dead in the eye and said, "I'll look after her, sir. Promise you that." We moved in together after 18 months. He carried me over the threshold of our little red brick terrace in Didsbury like we were already married. He framed the first photo we ever took together, both of us windswept on top of Helvellyn, and hung it above our bed. He planned the proposal on the exact spot we'd had our first kiss, down by the river in the lakes. Got down on one knee in the pouring rain, ring box soaked, curls plastered to his forehead, shouting over the water, "Emily Grace Thompson, will you let me love you for the rest of my life?" I cried so hard I nearly fell in the river. The wedding was everything I'd ever scribbled in the back of my school books when I was 12. Tiny stone church in Cheshire, fairy lights in the beams, wildflowers in jam jars, me in ivory lace, him in navy tweed. He cried when he saw me walking down the aisle, actual tears rolling down his cheeks. When we said our vows, for better or worse, in sickness and in health, till death do us part, his voice cracked on the word death. I thought it was because he couldn't imagine life without me. I thought that was love. I thought wrong. The first 7 months were pure magic. We'd lie in bed on Sunday mornings, eating toast and arguing about whose turn it was to make tea. He'd sneak up behind me while I marked books and kiss the back of my neck until I gave in and let the red pens roll away. He still sent me flowers for no reason. Still texted, "You're my favorite human," at random points in the day. Everyone kept saying we were couple goals. I posted photos of us on Instagram with captions like, "Still pinching myself." I was so happy. And then came Tuesday, 13th February 2018. I'd had a nightmare day at school. Ofsted inspection, Year 6 meltdown, coffee spilt all over my planning. I tried to make shepherd's pie to cheer us both up, burned the top black because I was distracted. James walked in, still in his suit, looking knackered from work. I laughed, nervous, apologetic laugh, and said, "Sorry, babe, it's a bit cremated. I'll order takeaway." His face changed. I can still see it in slow motion. The smile vanished. His eyes went flat, cold. "You can't even cook a simple bloody dinner, Emily?" I opened my mouth to joke again, and the slap came out of nowhere. Hard, open-handed, across my left cheek. The sound echoed off the kitchen tiles like a gunshot. I stood there, hand pressed to my face, ears ringing, staring at this stranger wearing my husband's clothes. Then the switch flipped back. He dropped to his knees right there on the lino, tears streaming, voice breaking. I'm so sorry. I don't know what came over me. Work's killing me. I'm so stressed. Please forgive me. It'll never happen again. I swear on my life." By the next morning there were 24 red roses on the kitchen table and a Tiffany bracelet on my pillow. I wore scarf number 47 to school to hide the handprint. I smiled at parents' evening and told them I'd banged my face on the cupboard door. I told myself it was a one-off. I told myself everyone loses it sometimes. I told myself I must have provoked him. I told myself I was lucky he was sorry. I told myself so many lies. And the worst part? I actually believed them. If you've ever worn a scarf in February to hide fingerprints on your neck, you know exactly how this story ends. But you don't know how it ends for me yet. Keep watching. Because the next part is where the nightmare really begins. If that slap just made your stomach drop because you've felt it too, stay with me. You're not alone, and you don't have to stay silent anymore. I wish I could tell you that slap was the only one. I wish I could say I packed a bag the next day and never looked back. But that's not how it works, is it? The roses arrived at school at lunchtime. 24 perfect red blooms with a card that said, "I'm so sorry, Mrs. Thompson. You're my world, JX." The girls in the staff room swooned. "God, he's literally perfect." I smiled until my cheeks hurt, then locked myself in the loo and cried so hard I nearly threw up, because the handprint was still burning under 3 layers of concealer. That night, he cooked for me steak, medium rare, exactly how I like it. Poured me wine, ran me a bath with candles, kissed the bruise so gently I almost believed he was sorry. He kept saying, "It was a moment of madness. I've never done that before. I'll never do it again." And I wanted to believe him so badly that I swallowed every word. I told myself, people make mistakes. He was stressed. I laughed when I shouldn't have. I provoked him. I told myself all the things women have been telling themselves for centuries. 3 weeks later, I forgot to pick up his dry cleaning. He'd reminded me that morning, casual, not angry. I got caught up marking Year 4 stories, and it slipped my mind. He walked through the door at 6:42 p.m., and the temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees. I knew before he even spoke. I remember standing at the sink washing baby tomatoes, trying to make my hands stop shaking. He didn't shout. He just said, very quietly, "Where's my grey suit, Emily?" I turned around, smiling, that awful placating smile we all learned too well. "I'm so sorry, babe. I got swamped at school. I'll go first thing tomorrow." He closed the distance in 3 steps, grabbed a fistful of my hair at the roots, and slammed the side of my head against the kitchen cupboard. Once, twice. The pain exploded white behind my eyes. Then he let go, and I slid down the units onto the floor, gasping, scalp on fire. He crouched in front of me, voice soft again, like he was talking to a frightened child. You have one job when I'm at work. One job. To keep this house running. And you can't even do that. Then he walked upstairs, calm as anything, and ran himself a shower. I sat on the kitchen floor for 20 minutes, crying silently so the neighbors wouldn't hear. When he came down in joggers and a t-shirt, he made us both tea, kissed my forehead, and asked what we were watching on Netflix. That was the first time I understood there were two versions of James. The one the world saw funny, charming, generous James, and the one who lived behind our front door. After that, it became a rhythm, a sick, twisted routine. I got trapped inside. He'd hurt me never the face again for a long time. He was clever. Then he'd cry, beg, buy gifts, be the perfect husband for days or weeks. Then something tiny would set him off again, and the monster would come back. A plate not washed properly. A text from Liv he didn't like. Me wearing a skirt he thought was too short for parents' evening. Each time he swore it was the last. Each time I believed him, because the alternative was admitting I'd married an abuser. He started cutting me off from everyone. At first it was subtle. Do you have to go out with the girls again? I never see you. Then it was, why are you always on the phone to your mum? Am I not enough? Then the rages if I dared make plans. So I stopped making plans. I stopped answering Liv's calls. I started saying I was poorly every time Mum invited us round on Sunday. I watched my world shrink to the four walls of that house in Didsbury. He made me quit teaching the summer after the first slap. Said we didn't need the money, that my place was at home, that the kids at school were too stressful for me. I fought at first. Then he put me through a door and I stopped fighting. He took my bank cards, gave me £60 cash a week for shopping, checked every single receipt. I had to text him when I left Tesco and when I got home. If I was 2 minutes late, he'd be standing at the window, arms folded, eyes black. I lost nearly 2 stone in a year. My collarbones stuck out like coat hangers. I wore long sleeves in July. I smiled at the checkout lady and prayed she wouldn't notice the fingerprints round my wrist. I tried to leave once. October 2019. He'd fractured my wrist the night before because I'd looked at the barista too long. While he was at the gym, I packed a tiny rucksack passport, £400 I'd hidden in an old shoe, 1 change of clothes. I got as far as a Travelodge, off the M60, checked in under my maiden name, locked the door, sat on the bed and shook for 3 hours thinking I'd actually done it. He found me at 6:12 p.m. I still don't know how to find my iPhone, I think. He didn't even knock. Just used the spare key he must have bullied reception into giving him. The look on his face when the door opened wasn't anger. It was ownership. He dragged me out by my broken wrist, threw me in the car, drove home in silence. That night he beat me so badly I pissed blood for 3 days. When he finally stopped, he held my face in both hands and said, very gently, "You are mine, Emily. You don't get to leave. Ever. If you try again, I will kill you, and I'll make sure no one ever finds the body." Then he tucked me into bed, kissed my forehead, and went to sleep. I lay in the dark, staring at the ceiling, and realized something that broke the last piece of me that was still fighting. He meant every word, and I believed him. If you've ever packed a secret go bag and then unpacked it again because the fear was bigger than the hope, you know exactly how trapped I was. But you don't know how I got out yet. Stay with me. Because the next part is the night he finally went too far, and the night everything changed forever. If reading that made your chest tight because it sounds too familiar, please hit the bell and stay. You're not weak for staying. You're surviving, and surviving is the first step to escaping. By the start of 2020, I wasn't Emily anymore. I was a ghost wearing Emily's skin. I stopped recognizing the woman in the mirror. Cheekbones sharp enough to cut glass, eyes dead like a fish on a slab, purple-yellow fingerprints permanently decorating my arms. James never hit my face again after that first year. He wasn't stupid. He studied the bruises like a butcher studies meat, knew exactly where to punch so nothing showed under sleeves. Upper arms, ribs, thighs, lower back, the soft bit just above the kidney. He called them lessons. Every single time he finished, he'd hold me on the kitchen floor, rock me like a baby, and whisper the same thing. I hate doing this to you, Em, but you make me. If you were just better, this wouldn't happen. And the sickest part? I started to believe him. I'd apologize. I'd say sorry for breathing too loud, sorry for putting the milk back in the wrong door of the fridge, sorry for existing. He timed everything. If I took 7 minutes longer at Aldi than Google Maps said I should, he'd be waiting at the front door with that smile that never reached his eyes. Where the fuck have you been? I'd stammer about queues, about an old lady needing help with her bags, and he'd just stare until I started shaking. Then the first punch would land. I tried to keep count once, gave up at 200 incidents. That was only 2021. He broke my ribs 3 times, my collarbone once, my wrist twice. He strangled me unconscious 4 times that I remember, probably more. I'd wake up on the carpet with him crying over me, begging me not to make him do it again. He took my phone passcode, read every message, made me delete Liv, delete my sister, delete Mum from my contacts because they don't understand us. He installed a keylogger on the laptop. He rang the school and told them I'd had a nervous breakdown so I could never go back. He told our neighbors I had fibromyalgia. That's why I flinched when someone touched me. He told my parents I was depressed and didn't want visitors. He told everyone I was fragile. And they all believed him because he was so bloody charming. Christmas 2021, he dragged me round the table by my hair because I overcooked the turkey. New Year's Eve, 2022, he kicked me so hard in the stomach I threw up blood in the toilet, and he made me clean it with a toothbrush while he watched the fireworks on telly. Valentine's Day 2023, he gave me a necklace. Beautiful, white gold, and while he fastened it round my neck, he whispered, "If you ever take this off, I'll choke you with it." I slept in it for 4 months. I stopped sleeping properly. Started hearing footsteps that weren't there. I'd sit in the dark after he'd passed out drunk and Google how to disappear completely. I'd watch the trains go past from the bedroom window and wonder if anyone would notice if I just stepped in front of one. I wrote goodbye letters I never sent. I held his kitchen knives and pictured driving them into my own throat because dying felt easier than leaving. I was so far gone I honestly believed I deserved it. I believed I was worthless. I believed no one would ever want me broken like this. I believed the world was safer if I just stopped. But something inside me, some tiny, stubborn, battered spark, refused to die. And then came Thursday, 14th March 2023. The night he finally went too far. The night I stopped breathing for a full minute. The night the monster thought he'd won. And the night a junior doctor looked at my dying body and decided enough was enough. If you're reading this, and you've started to believe you deserve the pain, please hear me. You don't. You never did. Stay with me. Because the next part is the worst night of my life, but it's also the night I started living again. If any of that sounded like your life right now, please, please, don't close this video. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not too far gone. Comment, "I'm still here" below if you need to know someone sees you tonight. I see you. And I'm begging you, keep watching. Thursday, 14th of March, 2023. I still know the exact date because it's the night I stopped breathing and somehow started living. It started like any other day in hell. I'd been to Aldi, bought exactly what was on the list, took photos of the receipt like always, got home 7 minutes early just to be safe. James came through the door at 6:28 p.m, already drunk on rage. I could smell it on him before he even spoke. That sharp, metallic fury that meant someone at work had bruised his ego. He slammed his laptop bag down so hard the frame on the wall jumped. I was at the cooker stirring peppers for fajitas, trying to keep my hand steady. He didn't say a word at first. Just stood behind me, breathing through his nose like a bull. Then, "You've ruined it again." I turned the gas down, heart already sprinting. "It's not even finished yet, babe. 10 more minutes," and his hand clamped around the back of my neck and shoved my face toward the sizzling pan. I jerked back just before my cheek touched the oil. The scream came out before I could stop it. That was all it took. He spun me round and backhanded me so hard I tasted blood instantly. Then the real storm began. He punched me in the stomach so hard the air left my body in one violent whoosh. I doubled over, gasping, and he grabbed my hair, yanked my head back, and kneed me in the ribs. Crack, crack, 2 gone instantly. I hit the tiles, winded, trying to crawl away. He followed, kicking, 1 to the thigh, 1 to the hip, 1 to the kidney that made me piss myself right there on the kitchen floor. I curled into a ball, arms over my head, waiting for the darkness, but he wasn't finished. He dragged me up by the throat, lifted me clean off the ground, feet dangling. I felt my windpipe collapse under his thumbs. My hands scratched at his wrists, legs kicking uselessly. The room went grey at the edges. I remember thinking, very calmly, this is it. I'm dying in my own kitchen. Spots exploded in front of my eyes. The last thing I saw was his face. Red, twisted, triumphant, then nothing. I came round in the back of his Audi. He was driving fast, one hand on the wheel, the other rehearsing the lie out loud like a madman. Emily fell down the stairs. I wasn't even home. She tripped at the top. She's clumsy. She's always been clumsy. Over and over, faster and faster, like if he said it enough times it would become true. My left eye was swollen shut. Blood poured from my nose, thick and warm, soaking the hoodie he'd thrown me into. Every breath felt like knives in my ribs. I could taste metal and fear. But underneath the pain, something new was burning. A tiny, white-hot flame. Because he was taking me to hospital. And hospitals have doctors. Doctors who might see. He parked crooked outside Wythenshawe A&E. Half on the pavement, dragged me out by the arm. I could barely stand. He was half carrying me, doing the full performance. Please, somebody help. My wife fell down the stairs. She's hurt bad. Nurses ran out with a wheelchair. He tried to follow me into Rhesus. A security guard blocked him. That was the first time in years I felt air that didn't belong to him. They wheeled me behind the curtain. I remember the cold of the bed, the bright lights, the beeping. I remember thinking, if I die now, at least it won't be in that house. Then a young doctor walked in. Junior doctor, maybe 27. Dark hair, tired eyes, name badge that said Dr. A. Patel. He took one look at me and the temperature in the room changed. He saw the fingerprints round my neck before they even cut my clothes off. He saw the old bruises under the new ones. He saw everything. And in that second, I knew. This man was going to be my way out. Or I was going to die trying to tell him the truth. If you've ever lain on the floor praying for death because living hurt more, stay with me. Because the next part is the moment 6 words changed everything. 6 words that destroyed James forever. If you're holding your breath right now because you felt those kicks, that grip around your throat, breathe. You're still here. And the next part is the moment everything can change for you too. Don't stop now. The curtain closed behind Dr. Patel with a soft metallic scrape that sounded like freedom. It was just me, him, and a brilliant older staff nurse called Karen, who had kind eyes and purple Crocs. James was on the other side of that curtain, pacing, still doing his Oscar-worthy worried husband routine for anyone who'd listen. I was naked under a paper sheet now. They'd cut everything off me, hoodie, leggings, bra, knickers. All soaked in blood and piss and terror. My body looked like a crime scene photo. Dr. Patel pulled the stool close, sat down so our faces were level, and spoke so quietly I had to strain to hear. Emily, I'm going to ask you something, and I need you to know you are safe here. No one is coming through that curtain unless I say so. His voice was steady, but his eyes were furious on my behalf. He took my trembling hand very gently. These bruises, they're not from stairs, are they? I opened my mouth, and nothing came out a sound I'd never heard before. Half sob, half animal howl. All the years of silence exploded out of me at once. I couldn't stop. I cried so hard the monitors started screaming. Karen moved to hold me, and I flinched so violently I nearly fell off the trolley. She froze, tears in her own eyes, and whispered, "It's okay, love. We've got you now." Dr. Patel never let go of my hand. He waited until the storm slowed, then asked again, softer, "Who did this to you, Emily?" I looked at the curtain. I looked at the door. I looked at the man who was risking his career to give me this one moment of safety. And I said the words I'd rehearsed in my head 1,000 nights, but never dared speak aloud. My husband, James, did this. Please, please don't let him take me home. The second the sentence left my mouth, I felt something shift inside my chest, like a cage door creaking open after years of rust. Dr. Patel's jaw clenched. He squeezed my hand once, then stood up. Nurse Karen, can you stay with Emily? I'll be 30 seconds. He stepped outside the curtain. I heard his calm, professional voice cut through James's fake panic like a blade. Mr. Thompson, I need you to come with security to the relatives' room. Now. James tried to argue, but that's my wife. Now, sir. Footsteps walking away. The curtain opened again, and Dr. Patel was back. He sat down, closer this time, and said the 6 words I will take to my grave. You never have to go home with him again. I stared at him. I think my heart actually stopped for a second. He kept going, voice low and fierce. We are calling the police. We are documenting everything. You are staying here tonight in a safe room. Tomorrow, a specialist domestic abuse team will come. You are not alone anymore. I started crying again, but this time it was different. These were the first tears I'd cried in years that weren't from pain. Karen was crying too, stroking my hair, saying over and over, "You brave, brave girl." Dr. Patel stayed with me while they took photos of every bruise, every fingerprint, every boot mark. He stayed while the police photographer arrived. He stayed while I gave my first statement, voice shaking, blood still crusted under my nose. He stayed until the specialist officer, a woman called D.S. Helen Croft with a calm Scouse accent, took over. At 4:17 a.m., my mum and dad burst through the ward doors. I hadn't seen them properly in 2 years. Mum took one look at me and screamed, then ran and held me so carefully, like I was made of glass. Dad stood in the doorway crying silent tears I'd never seen in my whole life. James had been arrested in the hospital car park, trying to drive away. They found the photos on his phone. Hundreds of pictures of me, bruised and bleeding, taken while I was unconscious, saved in a hidden folder called My Lessons. They found the texts. Next time you embarrass me, I'll put you 6 feet under. They found the search history. How to make a fall look accidental. By sunrise, I was in a side room with a guard outside the door. I slept for the first time in years without terror. When I woke up, Dr. Patel was there with a cup of tea and a bacon butty. He sat on the plastic chair and said quietly, "You're going to be okay, Emily. It's going to be hard as hell, but you're going to be okay." I cried into that butty like a baby, and I believed him. If you're watching this, and you've never told a single soul, please know this. The moment you say the words out loud, everything can change. One sentence. One stranger who believes you. That's all it takes. Stay with me, because the next part is the trial, and the moment James finally lost forever. If you just cried reading those 6 words, comment, "I want to be free" too below. I'll read every single one. You are not alone, and freedom is closer than you think. Friday, 2nd February 2024, Manchester Crown Court, Courtroom 4. I walked in on legs that still didn't feel like mine. New name on the paperwork, special measures. New haircut, new glasses, but the same nightmares every night. They'd given me a separate entrance, a screen so I wouldn't have to see him unless I chose to. I chose to. I needed to look him in the eye when the truth finally came out. The public gallery was packed. Press, women from the refuge, Liv crying in the front row, Mum and Dad holding hands so tightly their knuckles were white. Then they brought him in. James, orange prison tracksuit, 2 sizes too big, hair shaved short, face thinner. But the eyes were the same, cold, dead. He looked straight at me and smiled that tiny, smug half-smile he used to give me right before a beating. My knees nearly gave way. D.S. Helen Croft squeezed my arm. "You've got this, Emily." The prosecutor, Miss Claire Adebayo, stood up and started. She didn't rush. She laid it out like a horror film in slow motion. Photo after photo on the big screen. My torso in Rhesus that night. Black, purple, yellow, green. Close-ups of the fingerprints round my throat, the boot mark on my kidney, the hidden folder, My Lessons, with 312 pictures of me, unconscious and bleeding. Then the messages he'd sent me. You think anyone will believe a mad bitch over me? If you ever leave, I'll burn the house down with you in it. Remember who you belong to. Then the audio. A voicemail from Christmas 2021 where he's screaming, "You've ruined my fucking life," while I'm sobbing in the background. You could hear people crying in the gallery. James just stared straight ahead, jaw ticking. His barrister tried the usual rubbish. I was emotionally unstable. I had borderline personality disorder. I self-harmed for attention. I fell down the stairs when drunk. They even brought in a paid psychiatrist who'd never met me to say I was histrionic. I watched the jury's faces harden with every lie. Then it was my turn. Victim impact statement. I walked to the witness box on legs made of jelly. I'd written it myself, 8 pages, every word carved out of me in therapy. I looked straight at him the entire time. Your Honor, members of the jury, for 6 years James Thompson convinced me I was nothing. He broke 11 of my bones that I know of. He strangled me until I blacked out more times than I can count. He took my job, my friends, my family, my name. He made me believe I deserved pain every single day. But today I stand here to tell him, and to tell every woman watching this on the news tonight, I was never nothing. I am Emily Grace Thompson. I survived him. And today I am free. I turned to James. You told me no one would ever believe me. Look around. They all believe me now. The courtroom was silent, except for sobbing. Even the judge had tears in her eyes. Then the verdict. The foreman stood up. Count 1, grievous bodily harm, with intent, guilty. Count 2, coercive and controlling behavior, guilty. Count 3, multiple assaults by beating, guilty. Count 4, threats to kill, guilty. Every single one, guilty, guilty, guilty. James's face finally cracked. He started shouting, "She's lying! She's a fucking liar!" as they dragged him down to the cells. I didn't move. I just stood there and let the words wash over me like warm rain. Guilty. The sentence came a week later, 12 years, with a restraining order for life. The judge looked at me and said, "Miss Thompson, you are one of the bravest women I have ever had in my court. I hope you go on to live a life full of joy." I cried in the dock. Liv ran to me in the corridor and we held each other like we were 16 again. Mum and Dad hugged me so hard I thought my ribs would break all over again, but this time from love. Outside the court, the press were waiting. I walked straight up to the microphones, heart hammering, and said the words I'd practiced 1,000 times. If you are watching this and you're scared to speak, please hear me. They will believe you. You are worth saving. There is life after him. I promise. And I meant every single word. If you've ever been told you're too broken to be believed, look what happened when I spoke. They believed me. They will believe you too. Stay with me. Because the next part is the bit no one talks about. What happens after the monster is locked away. Comment guilty if you needed to hear that word today. Every single comment is another brick in the prison wall, keeping abusers where they belong. And if you're still in court in your head, keep watching. Freedom is real. The first morning I woke up without fear. I didn't recognize the feeling. It was May 2024. I was in a tiny one-bed flat above a chippy in Newcastle upon Tyne. New name on the tenancy agreement, Ellie May. No one in the building knew my real story. The woman downstairs thought I'd just gone through a bad breakup. That was fine with me. I lay in bed and listened. Seagulls outside, the fryer switching on downstairs, a bus hissing at the lights. No footsteps that made my heart stop. No key in the lock at 6:28 p.m. No voice asking why dinner wasn't ready. Just quiet. I cried for 20 minutes straight, face buried in a pillow that smelled of cheap washing powder and safety. Then I got up and made myself beans on toast, and I ate the whole plate sitting at a wobbly table that was mine and mine alone. Little things became miracles. Buying milk without photographing the receipt. Walking past a building site without crossing the road. wearing short sleeves in June and not caring who saw the scars, laughing out loud on the phone to live without looking over my shoulder. I started therapy in June. My counselor, Ruth, is a Geordie woman in her 50s with purple streaks in her hair and zero tolerance for self-blame. Week 1, I sat in silence for 45 minutes. Week 12, I screamed until I was sick. Week 30, I laughed because I realized I hadn't flinched once that day. I got a rescue dog in August. A brindle staffy called Luna, who was scared of men and loud noises. We understood each other perfectly. Every night she slept curled against my chest like a hot water bottle made of velvet and trust. I went back to teaching in September. Year 4 at a little school near the coast. The kids call me Miss May and fight over who gets to hold my hand at playtime. They have no idea their teacher still sleeps with the light on. And that's exactly how I want it. I started running along the seafront at dawn. First, 1 kilometre became 5, kilometres became 10 kilometres. Every step felt like running away from him and toward myself at the same time. I got tattoos. Tiny forget-me-nots around my left wrist where the rope burns used to be. On my ribs, in tiny handwriting, I survived. I let my hair grow out to its natural brown. I bought red lipstick and wore it to the supermarket just because I could. I made friends again. Real ones. Sunday roasts with Liv when she drives up the A1. Pub quizzes with the other teachers. Coffee with the woman from the refuge linked me with Sarah, who got out 5 years before me and now runs self-defense classes for survivors. We laugh until we cry sometimes, because only we understand how miraculous it is to laugh at all. Dating was harder. The first man who asked me out, I burst into tears in the middle of Costa. He was kind, bought me a tissue, and never texted again. The second man is still here. His name is Dan. He's a paramedic. Gentle voice, gentle hands, gentle everything. I told him everything on date 3. He listened without flinching, then said, "Thank you for trusting me with your story. I'm not going anywhere unless you tell me to. We've been taking it slow for 7 months now." He still asks before he holds my hand. He still texts, "You okay?" if I go quiet for too long. He still makes me feel like I'm allowed to take up space. Some nights I still wake up gasping, thinking James is in the room. Luna licks my face until I remember where I am. Some days I still check the locks 5 times. Some triggers will probably never leave. But the difference is, now the fear doesn't own me. I do the scary thing anyway. I speak at refuge fundraisers. I mentor new women who arrive with nothing but bruises and terror in their eyes. I tell them the same thing Ruth told me. You are not broken. You are breaking open, and light is going to pour through every crack. I kept one thing from the old life. The Tiffany bracelet he bought after the first slap. I had the jeweler melt it down and turn it into a tiny forget-me-not charm that now hangs round Luna's collar. Every time she wags her tail, it jingles. A reminder that even the ugliest things can be transformed into something beautiful. If you're still in the dark right now, listening to this on silent with the volume at 2, please hear me. There is morning after the night. There is laughter after the crying stops. There is a life so gentle and sweet waiting for you that your past self wouldn't believe it. I'm living proof. I'm Ellie Mae now. I teach children to read. I run by the sea. I sleep without nightmares most nights. And I am happy. Truly, properly, quietly happy. Stay with me for the final part, because I need to look you in the eye through this screen and tell you exactly what to do if tonight is your Thursday, 14th March 2023. Comment the word morning if you needed to be reminded that morning comes. I read every single one. You are closer to sunrise than you think. This part isn't gentle anymore. This part is me grabbing you by the shoulders at 3 a.m. and refusing to let go until you hear me. If you are watching this on silent, phone under the pillow, heart hammering, bruises still fresh, tears you can't let him hear, this is for you. If you've watched the whole story and thought, that's me, that's exactly me, this is for you. If you've already tried to leave 7 times and gone back 7 times, this is for you. If you're pregnant, or you have kids asleep in the next room, or you have no money, no family, nowhere to go, This is still for you. Listen to me. You do not need another black eye to prove it's bad enough. You do not need to wait for him to put you in hospital. You do not need permission. Tonight can be your Thursday, 14th of March, 2023. Tonight can be the night the junior doctor, or the nurse, or the neighbor, or the friend, or the stranger on the internet looks at you and says the 6 words that set you free. You never have to go home with him again. Here's the truth. They don't want you to know. Leaving is dangerous, but staying is deadlier. I have the broken bones and the nightmares to prove it. So here's your step-by-step escape plan, right now, no bullshit. Right now, while he's asleep or out. Take photos of every bruise, date stamped. Screenshot the nastiest messages. Put them in a hidden folder or email them to yourself at a new secret Gmail address. Memorize or write on your body in biro where he won't see. UK National Domestic Abuse Helpline 0808 20 00 247 24/7. Free, they will never judge. In emergency, 999 ISK for is the man still in the house? They'll know what to do. Pack a go bag and hide at friend's house. Work locker, bottom of the wheelie bin. Passport, ID, tenner cash every week until you have enough. Spare knickers, phone charger, kids' birth certificates if you have them. If you have 5 minutes alone, ring 0808 20 247 and just say, I'm not safe. They will talk you through everything. They have refuges with space tonight. If he's hurting you right now, lock yourself in the bathroom, ring 999 and leave the line open. They can trace the call even if you can't speak. If you can't leave tonight, that's okay. Start a secret journal on your phone notes, password protected, of every incident. Dates, times, what he did. That journal will put him in prison one day. You are not weak for staying. You are surviving. Every day you wake up breathing is a victory. But surviving is no longer enough. You deserve to live. You deserve to wake up without terror. You deserve to laugh until your ribs hurt from joy, not fists. You deserve sex that doesn't feel like punishment. You deserve to wear whatever the hell you want. You deserve to have your own money, your own friends, your own future. You deserve everything he told you you didn't. And you can have it. I know you're scared he'll kill you if you leave. I was scared too. But I'm here. I'm alive. I'm free. And thousands of us are waiting on the other side to catch you when you jump. There is a bed with your name on it in a refuge tonight. There is a police officer who will believe you. There is a solicitor who works for free. There is a life so beautiful it will make you cry happy tears every single day. I'm living it. So here's my promise to you. If you take one single step tonight, just one, I swear on everything I am, the universe will move mountains to meet you halfway. Ring the number. Pack the bag. Send the text to that friend you've been ghosting. Walk into A&E and say, I didn't fall. Do it messy. Do it terrified. Do it with no plan. Just do it. Because the alternative is staying until he keeps his promise and kills you. I love you. We love you. We are already proud of you. Comment, I'm ready, or help me, or even just a heart emoji. I will see it. Every survivor watching will see it. And we will carry you across the line. You are not alone. You never were. Now take a breath. Close this video when you're ready. And go get your life back. I believe you. We believe you. And we are waiting. Comment anything, one word, one emoji, one full stop. Just let us know you're still there. We've got you, and morning is coming. This is the last part. If you're still here, thank you. Thank you for trusting me with your time, your tears, your hope. I need you to know something before I go. I still have bad days. Some mornings I wake up, and for 3 full seconds, I'm back on that kitchen floor tasting blood. Some nights I still triple-check the locks and sleep with Luna pressed against my chest like a living shield. But the bad days are no longer my whole life. They're just days I get through, until the good ones come again. And the good ones? They are so good they steal my breath. Walking into my classroom and 30 tiny humans shouting, Miss May, like I'm their favorite person in the world. Running along the beach with Luna racing the waves, both of us laughing for no reason. Dan kissing my forehead when I fall asleep on the sofa, whispering, "I've got you," like it's the easiest promise he's ever made. Liv and I drinking Prosecco in the garden at midnight, talking about everything and nothing, no longer afraid of loud voices. I never thought I'd have ordinary again. Turns out ordinary is the most extraordinary thing of all. I kept one photo from the old life. It's the one from the top of Helvellyn, wind in our hair, both of us grinning like idiots. I cut James out of it. Now it's just me, standing on a mountain, hair wild, cheeks pink, looking like a woman who already knew how strong she was, even if she hadn't worked it out yet. That woman was always in there. She just needed the world to believe in her long enough for her to believe in herself. And that's what I'm doing right now. Looking straight into this camera, straight into your eyes, and believing in you. You are stronger than you know. You are braver than you feel. You are more loved than you can possibly imagine. If you take nothing else from this entire story, take this. You deserve to live without fear. Not one more day. Not one more minute. There is a door. It might be scary. It might be heavy. But it opens from the inside. And on the other side is morning. Real morning. The kind that smells of coffee and sea air and second chances. I'm standing in it right now, arms wide open, waiting for you. Come find us when you're ready. Until then, keep this video. Save it. Watch it again on the nights you forget you're allowed to leave. And when you finally walk out that door, whether it's tonight or next year, send me a heart in the comments. I'll know what it means. You made it. You're free. And I am so proud of you. This is Emily Grace Thompson, now Ellie Mae, signing off. Thank you for letting me tell you my story. Now go write the ending you deserve. I love you. See you in the morning. Comment a single sunflower emoji. Every sunflower is another woman who made it to the other side. One day soon, yours will be here too. We're all waiting to celebrate you.